You got me?
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about the brand. Just talk to me about that.
Yeah, so we came up with this with I actually have a partner, and he started it and was running it for a while, but really wasn't doing much with it. And one day I saw one of my friends wearing it, and I was like, "Where'd you get that shirt?" And he was like, "Oh, actually got it from this guy named Gooston. He has a clothing brand or whatever." So he gave me the website, and I went on and I ordered like 3 right away, and then they got to me, and I was like, "These are awesome." So I messaged the guy, and we'd never spoken before, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got that clothing brand going," and he knew who I was already, so he kind of in the same space, I guess. And he's like, when he later on told me, like, when he was just in his office, and he's like, "Oh shit, I got a message from J.R. Rivas." So we got on the phone right away, and I was like, "Dude, I want to be involved." And he was like, "What does that mean?" And I was like, "Equity partner." And we just met. So
Yeah.
so he's like, "Okay, cool. Like, I'm open to it," because he was like, "I was kind of thinking about it the other day, and then like I randomly get this message from you and all this stuff." So then we kind of like we were going back and forth talking about it, ideas and stuff, and then we had like 3 other friends that we had talked about it. So we get in like a Facebook group chat, and we get on a call, and we have like, we're basically gonna do like a 5-way partnership and just blow this up. So
How long ago was this?
a couple months ago.
Okay.
So then, so we get on the call, and then we were going back and forth in the chat, 5 people, and we can't agree on anything. Like, one person's like, "Oh, we gotta dial in our messaging first." One person's like, "No, we just gotta make some sales first." One person's like, "Oh, we gotta improve the design." One person's like, "We need a lifestyle video." One person's like, "We need influencers." So there was really nobody like leading.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd been my first time trying to partner with that many people. So it was just, nothing happened. Like, just couldn't agree on anything. So then it kind of died for a couple months. And I go and message Gooston again like a few months later, and I'm like, "Hey dude, like, what do you, like, are we gonna do something?" So the brand was, it was called, the URL was like entrepreneurs.com with like some letters missing, and that was some of the designs too. But I looked at it, and there was another company that had a very similar design, and they're super popular. So I did a trademark search, and I was like, yeah, like, if we even attempt to run ads with this, like, we're probably gonna drive business to them. So I was like, so we started talking, and he's like, "Okay, cool. So let's start thinking of new names." So we're going back and forth, and we're like just throwing out just a bunch of names. So one of the ways that I find names for stuff is I look for synonyms of words. So I was looking for entrepreneur, and then synonyms for clothing, and material is a synonym for clothing.
Yes.
So then I was like, that's a good fucking name, because it's like, it's a double meaning. It's
amazing.
Material, like material, but
Yeah.
it's like RU entrepreneur material.
Yeah.
So so I checked the domain, and I was like in shock that it was available. Like, I bought that shit so fast.
Yeah.
Dang.
You get a good domain, like, you ever get an idea for a good domain, you're like, you can't believe it's there, and you just buy it as if somebody's like about to buy it.
Yeah.
So I bought that shit so fast that I locked down like the Instagram and all that stuff, and I was like, even if we don't do this, like, I still want this
That's
name.
a great name. Yeah.
So I was in shock that in 2018 that name was available. So
Entrepreneur Material is his brand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's great.
It's sick. Yeah.
So then we're going through the designs, and I had started working with a branding expert who'd worked with a couple of celebrities, and she did like a little branding package for me, like just helping with font and colors and meaning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I took what I learned. Her name was Tracy, by the way. She's awesome, Tracy Wong, and she does like video work and stuff. So I take the what I learned from her and what we did with my brand, and like being consistent across all platforms and stuff like that. So one of the things she told me is, like, when we're picking our brand colors, she's like whatever you pick, it should mean something to you. You shouldn't just pick it. So like, I always wanted to pick something that looked cool or whatever. but once she said that, I was like, that's totally true. So like my personal brand now, my brand colors are like black, red, and gray. So that indicates like blood, sweat, and tears. So the same thing, I wanted to tie elements of that into the entrepreneur material brand. So we picked the font, like the font has a meaning, and then we added, and this is version 1, so it doesn't have it, but we added a little teardrop at the end that's actually a blood drop that's red. So the whole meaning behind that is like, from afar, it looked, because originally when we were going back and forth with the designs, it looked like a period. Or he actually, Gustin had a period and it was orange. So he was like, what do you think about this? And I was like, it's cool, but like it doesn't mean anything. So then I said, what if the period was, I'll pull up the website so you guys can see what I mean.
Well, what's just interesting is he's put a couple.
So I was like, what if the period instead becomes a, let me see one that's easy to see here.
You know I'm going to go and order some of this stuff today for us.
So I said, what if the period becomes a blood drop? Because from afar, it basically that signifies from afar, like people don't really see your hard work, but from up close they can see like your blood, sweat, and tears. Like for you personally, like people see you online, and it's like, you know, you have this great lifestyle and all this stuff, and then me here in person, I can see like, okay, you came from this, now you got to go do this. Now like I see like the hard work because we're here.
Yes.
So from afar it just looks like a period, but from up close you can see like the blood. It's a blood drop. So we made that, incorporated that into the brand, and then we tied it to a mission statement. So our mission, my personal mission, and the reason that we started this was because I always wanted a clothing brand, but I didn't want to do one just to do one, because there's a million t-shirt companies out there. So we tied this to my personal mission, which is to start a school for entrepreneurs that breeds the best thinkers in the world. So the whole backstory behind that is I went to spend a week with monks in the mountains. Nice. Because I was just miserable as fuck with my life.
You're younger, right? You're like 24.
24, yeah. So I spent a week with the monks, and it kind of, like, it maybe just reevaluated my life. So I asked myself, once I got out of there, I was like, what is one thing that if I did this, if I made this happen, if I died broke and lonely and alone, I would still feel like my life was worth it. So then I thought about like, okay, maybe I'll just pick one big issue. Like I'll pick like, I don't know, global warming, or like, you know, electric cars or whatever, like Elon Musk does. But then I was like, but then that's only like, there was nothing that I cared enough about like that. Plenty of good issues out there, but none that like I could pick over the others.
Yeah.
So then I was like, what's one way that I could impact all these issues in one, like indirectly or directly through one project? So then I thought about it, and I was like, the education system's so fucked. Like, especially for entrepreneurs, like there's like if you have entrepreneur DNA and you go through like regular education system, it's like you either become an entrepreneur and everybody else just like goes to jail, or like ends up doing something like not productive, because the system doesn't cater to people like us.
Yes.
So I thought about that, and I was like, okay, I need to, like, that's a big enough problem for me that it makes me excited about it.
Just think about the whole conversation we had even this morning before I did that interview earlier. Yeah. It was about that. You know, just my whole day is about what you're talking about right now. Like why I'm leaving this in a minute to go, and what I'm doing after this, and what I've been talking about this morning is all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge thing.
Yeah, so I thought about that, and I was like, what if I could make a school? Like, what if I could do education reform? Like, a lot of entrepreneurs talk about it and stuff, and it's important to a lot of people, and I feel like it would get the attention of the right people. So I was like, okay, I need a school that breeds the best thinkers in the world. Like the Elon Musk, like why does Elon Musk think that way? Like, how did he get like that? And chances are, like, a lot of it started in childhood. So people like that are gonna learn how to solve big problems, or be able to solve big problems. So aside from that, like other elements of the vision is like, having a speaker come in like once a month or whatever, like a Les Brown or like a Gary Vee or somebody like that, and like really inspiring the kids. I think meditation is huge. It's huge and super important. I think the way that teaching is taught now is not effective. It's basically memorization, but they never teach you how to memorize. So I was thinking a more effective way would be to teach problem solving as they occur in real life. So for example, instead of teaching like math over here and like science over here, like kind of teach it together, teach it as one. And then also teach like what motivates people, like sales skills. So for example, in one class, to learn those two things, you might teach how to analyze real estate deals. So you could say like, okay, find a deal that's out on the market right now and analyze that and show me a way that it's a win for me and a win for you. So that teaches math, that teaches empathy, that teaches social skills. So that's kind of like my plan. So I plan to have the first one. So at first I was thinking like, okay, I'll do one. And I think I could do that. I'm 24 now. I think I could do that by the time I'm 30. But then I was like, that's thinking too small. So in order for this to be like big and actually make an impact, there has to be like 30 nationwide in the U.S. So that's kind of where we're at now. And part of the reason why I decided to travel full time is so that I can dedicate more time. I gave away all my stuff. Like in November 1st, gave away all my stuff, threw away, donated, whatever, and just started traveling.
So check this. So random, just like didn't know the dude was going to be in my office this morning. Just walk in my office, Monique and him were sitting in my office, and we met in Los Angeles. Maybe just
month and a half
ago. Like, how are you there? Like, I know, I end up going to a meeting. I'm going to go to prison the next day to speak at that prison, which was just crazy. And we didn't get to speak about that earlier, but like, that was crazy. Like, what happened to me that next day was just like crazy. Full maximum security prison. But how are you at that meeting the night before at that bar?
So my good friend Arnie, who runs the Millennial Entrepreneur Community, 75,000 members, was having a mastermind in San Diego the day before, or 2 days before. So I just came to hang out and just hang out for a couple of days in San Diego.
Okay.
And last minute he's like, hey, let's ride up to LA. And so I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So roll up to LA, and then he's like, oh, there's this meetup tonight. And I had no idea like what you guys were doing. I didn't know Steve or anybody there. And I'm like, and Arnie really didn't either. I'm like, how many people are going to be there? He's like, oh, probably a handful or something. There's like 40 people. So then I meet all you guys, and everybody's like, oh, we're going to prison tomorrow. And it was like a video game bar, too, which is interesting. Yeah. And so yeah, I just started talking to people, and then ran into you. And it honestly didn't click that I met you that night until I met you again here today. Yeah. So kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty interesting, huh? So okay, so how big? So this brand is new then. Like we're talking still like November.
So we just launched it on the week before Black Friday.
Nice.
And so my thought process with this is like, I know digital marketing. So I'm like, let's approach this like a digital marketing company. So we launched it to my audience. We gave information as bonuses if you bought anything. We gave like a little membership site.
Sure.
Moving forward,
which is interesting,
I wanted to integrate information. So like, if you buy this, you'll get my master class on storytelling. And then upsells, because we have two collections, identity collection and the mindset collection. We want to treat it like a digital business. So for example, if you buy one from the identity collection, then your upsell is going to be the full package at a discounted price. And then if you don't take that, then your downsell is going to be another shirt, a second shirt from that same collection or whatever at a discounted price. So doing that and then adding in information and packaging it all together, I think is very unique. And it's worked so far. Yeah. So moving forward, we're doing all the
so
things
interesting
that,
how the information can like stack the value so high as well.
Yeah.
Which is interesting,
Yeah.
isn't it? You know, and you're creating entrepreneur material by teaching them how to be better entrepreneurs.
Right.
So they wear the goods, but now they also get the information how to be a better entrepreneur,
Right.
which is just like great.
Yeah, so I haven't seen anybody do that, and I was like, this is a pretty interesting dynamic, and it just comes from because I never sold physical products before. All I knew was digital products, so I was like, it's just a natural.
What is your background?
So I help entrepreneurs grow an audience, build authority, and monetize in 57 days. That's like my intro statement, my tagline.
Yeah.
Through small audiences. So I always tell people like, people think you need like 100,000 person audience to make money online, but when you go on Instagram and you find like an account that has like 100,000 followers in the entrepreneurship category, a lot of times you can message them and get a shout out for like $20. So I'm like, obviously they're not doing a good job of monetizing.
Yeah.
And then there's people like one of my buddies, Andrew, who made, he does like 55K a month off an audience, started with an audience of 2,000. So what I found like through this and working with my personal group and my students and stuff is that it's not so much the size of the audience, it's more of having buyers in your audience. So that's what I help people do.
You saw my event, right? It was a small event. It was just crazy. I mean, it's like, you know, just small room, huge profits, huge. I mean, like, yeah, I look forward to 2019. Just those, just dotted through, you know, and it's interesting you mentioned Les Brown. He didn't know who Les Brown was, and then we met Les Brown's son this time last Wednesday,
Oh, nice.
and then Les zoomed in on the Zoom. On a Zoom, and it was just amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like I'm crying my eyes out, you know. I'm like, his dad makes me cry every fucking time, you know.
I didn't
again.
know I knew who he was.
Yeah.
And then he started speaking. I was like, oh, I've heard this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's heard his voice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's all over.
Oh,
He's in
okay.
every motivational video on YouTube.
I love
Yeah.
him so much, so much. I love that man. Helped me so much. So very cool. So the brand. So now. Do you do any kids?
Do I?
Did you have kid sizes?
Oh no, not yet.
You need to get some kids. I want to put my kids in it
We
too.
do. We need kids. Right now they're unisex, but I've heard a lot of you need ladies and kids.
Yeah, just I would buy some of that for my kids, you know. So
Yeah.
it's just great for the kids. So what's the next step? So you're basically attaching this info, which I like, by the way, the information attached to it. You got, you know, I love the new designs that are coming out. You got these upsells,
Mm-hmm.
downsells. So you're building it like a, you know, which is cool. I like. So what's next?
So we're starting influencer campaigns soon.
Yeah.
And then Facebook ads, and those will probably be our two traffic sources. We need a lifestyle video done, and just kind of we're looking a lot at other clothing brands that have become like cool and like blown up, like Gymshark and stuff like that, and just seeing like how they're doing things and like what kind of retargeting are they running. And stuff
I don't know
like
if you
that.
have over here JD Sports in the US. I don't think you have. You don't know that name, no?
Mm-mm.
So my buddies back in the UK and over in Monaco as well, they just got a brand, and they just got into like big, you know, like it'd be like your Foot Locker. You know what I'm saying? They
Okay.
just got in there, so I can introduce you to those guys just to speak with like what they're doing. That'd be pretty cool. And there's like blood, sweat, and tears. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Yeah.
they put a lot of money into it. You know, like I was speaking, like they send me some clogger over now, and it's like, you know, like proud of them, but they put a lot of money into it. That'd be a good connection.
Yeah.
And then, do you know Billie Jean?
Yeah. He came on my podcast.
Cool.
We're
Good.
acquaintances.
Yeah, good. Okay. So that's a good person for the education side, but that's what he's rooting for, you know?
Yeah.
That's his whole statement, you know what I'm saying?
My next program is in beta.
Yeah.
It's called Personal Brand Profits.
Okay, nice.
So it's we got 100 people in beta.
Uh-huh.
We did so in the past I've done betas for like maybe $497, $297, but this one I wanted to get so I wanted 100 people, so I did it for 97
Uh-huh.
because I wanted to get as many testimonials as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So got 100 people in on Black Friday.
Yep.
And now I'm working through like getting the results. We're doing like a weekly call and stuff. A lot of people are starting to get their first sales, their first results and stuff like
Nice.
that. So I want to find a way to, so the program is I'm kind of debating either going like $9.97 for the course and then having a 5K, which is like in the course it kind of just there's like the applications kind of scattered throughout the course where they can apply to work with me in a group coaching setting. So I want to do for 5K like you get a 90-minute transformation call or like roadmaps strategy call, and then one weekly call week for 90 days group. So and then in there I bring in I basically like I'll look at their Facebook groups, I'll help them like with their content, I'll help them set up their content in the group setting, and then I'll bring in like every other call, I'll bring in somebody to talk about like traffic, like kind of how like you did. So my issue, I guess, that I'm running into mentally, I haven't started selling it yet. The most I've sold for a coaching program is 3K. Is how the value stack is going to. So okay, so let me tell you back up and tell you about the funnel. So I'm doing a application. After the application, you book a call immediately on the next page, and then after you book a call, it goes to another page which is homework, and that's where you actually find out what the program is. So I'm making it kind of exclusive in a way that I'm telling them in the homework, like, hey, if you like this is what I'm telling them up front, like, hey, if anything in this video doesn't jive with you, just go back and cancel the call. So I'm telling them like who this is for, who this is not for, what's in the program, and then I'm kind of just going through and just letting them know like, hey, if this isn't you or whatever, like don't feel bad canceling the call. Just saying like cancel the call like enough time so that if they're not the right person, like if they don't have money or whatever, they'll go back and cancel the call. So what I'm interested in is, because I only have those two components, is like the 90-minute and then the one call a week, the value stack in the video is not as sexy, because I'm not saying like, hey, you're gonna get this value, this value, this value. So I'm thinking,
let's look at a few things then. So when you sold the beta for 97, do they get the 90-minute and the coaching? No. They just get the training.
Yeah, and then we
so like I do things a little bit different. So it's fine to have all of the application through the program, but you can't expect them to apply. Like you can't put it in their case, oh, I need coaching. You need to sell them that they need coaching. So you got to show them the problem they have, right? So you can't just expect them to wake up and be like, I want coaching. Let me just apply here, right? So it's fine to have them in there. So now, let's just look at it like this. So say you sell it at $5,000 now. They're going to get that program that everybody got the beta for $97 plus coaching, yeah?
Right.
So the difference is not the information, but it's the coaching. So what's the gap? Where are these people? So people are getting results now. And again, this is like not a problem, but it is a problem. It's not a problem for your business to sell something that works, which is great because most people don't sell squat that works, right? But it's a problem for the ascension if it really works and they don't need the ascension. So like what I did was I created a program, Monique was in my program, created a program, and really it isn't just a program, but it's extensive team. Like there's a team of people around me. I have like an army of people who support me, and then they support my clients. So now the training component itself is great, but you really want to be working with these experts at the same time. So now my training actually incorporates that. They're like, this is great, but there is, which we call the elite level. So then when we took that training and just sold it on its own, which is great training, now it really feeds into needing personal coaching. Do you know what I'm saying?
So for example, like you teach Facebook ads and then you're like,
well, my dude's in there, like looking at their campaigns.
Okay, that's what I was
I'm saying. So the training's in there. Hey, here's the training, but now like, what happens if I panic? What happens if this happens? What happens if, hey, my campaign's not working? Like my campaign actually isn't even turning on. There's things like, well, they can get on a group call with him and he can actually look at their campaign and log into their accounts with them.
And how much is that?
9K.
Okay.
But like that's 9K we can sell just on the downs like there, but it's 15K I just saw the guy just now, like on there, like 25,000 into a package. But there's, you know, like from that what I just showed you, the goal to the elite, they can just get in for 9K.
So my thought process was, the information isn't gonna change from 1,000 to
It
5,000.
doesn't need to change.
It's
the level of access.
right, and accountability.
So
and all this
research,
other
so it's basically this: research is cool, access is everything.
It's also the way of delivery, because if I would have had the training without Alex walking us through it, without having the support to just ask these questions, without having literally someone taking us and be like, so this is actually how you need to do it, I wouldn't have paid the 9K. And also, so it's like, it's basically then the way how you message it. So how Alex literally sold us was not like, so this is what you learn, but this is what we give you, and this is what our experts do with you. It's not like you learn how to build a funnel, but we build this funnel with you.
So basically, like you say, there's one call, there's like a call a week. That's a feature. What's the benefit of the feature? Well, there's the removal of the pain. So it's like right now, if I just look at my notes and just look at this, which I wrote up the other day, I'm doing something new. But I go to my phone, I have so many messages. Okay, so what are they really buying? If you look from the people who paid 97, so the first thing is, most probably, you could recreate, it depends. Again, you've just done it a different way I would do it. I would have sold it at 5K, created the content, and now you're able just to sell the content on its own. That's the way I would have done it. But it's fine, now you've done it the other way, you've got 100 people, now you're getting success stories, you can take those success stories and use them in your marketing, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know, that product would be like, say, 1,000 on its own, or 2,000 or 500, whatever you put it at, but it's a real feeder for the next level. It's like, you know, my $9,000 package is like a feeder for that class you just saw just then. That isn't 9,000, they pay 10,000 to get in that class. So that takes a customer from $500 to $19,000. And then there's a level above that as well. I'm saying, so you just want to see where the business goes, where you want to take them, like how far you want to take it. So what are they buying when they upgrade? Well, they're buying confidence. They get confidence in that, you know, Monique did a cartwheel because we told her what to do, and she was confident to do it, and she was able to close the deal, and then she did a cartwheel across the computer screen.
That wasn't inside of them.
They get, they're buying direction. Like we can show them like what to do.
Yeah.
They're not just following a train again.
Feedback.
Yeah, direction, certainty. I don't know about this. What do I do? Do that. They're buying certainty. They're buying access. Like I said, you know, research is cool, but access is everything. Well, what do I do here? Use this. What? That works for us. You know what I'm saying? Speed of implementation. You know, I gotta do this, do I do that? No, just go and do that. Expert advice. You know, they're paying for now not just the information. It's like whenever I found a good book, a good product, a good program, as soon as I found those when I was starting out, I'd find out who the author or the creator is, and I'd go and find them in a seminar, and I would hang out with them, or I'd buy their coaching program and get to know them.
The EOS model?
Huh?
The EOS model? The EOS model?
What's that?
From the book,
Scalar. Vern Harnish.
No.
Oh, sorry, Traction.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you follow through?
the,
You said you wanted to implement the EOS model.
yeah, no, we haven't. No, we use a bit of it, but we haven't, like, so basically there's a good point, you know, it's like there's a book, I read the book, and within 5 minutes I'm like, whoever this guy is, his name is Gene Wickman, I want to work with him. But then I had his woman come here, and one of the women, she's great, and I'll hire her, it's like $5,000 a day. It'd be like $25,000 investment to like implement this running system into my business. We just had other stuff going on, and like, it's
Yeah.
kind of like, when we're doing this, I didn't want to bring this in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, expert advice, you know, instead of me trying to figure out the stuff from the book, it's like, you know, it's $25,000 to have an expert come in and implement it. Expert advice, world-class support, clarity, done few elements, you know, it's like, is there, like, you know, your buddy Arnie, you know, like, I'm sure I was reading somewhere that he puts people into your group with his software.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's a done for you element, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and collects their email and stuff. Yeah, so I could do done for you elements, so I could say, hey, you also get a auto webinar funnel that is completely built out and a live webinar funnel so that you don't have to go out and pay somebody else to do that. It's plug and play, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I was thinking, to kind of stack the value a little bit more.
But what the main thing to look at is, because we can get so caught up in like creating like all of these different features and what are the benefits of it, but what's their big pain? Like, and people will pay more money for less. People will pay more money for simplicity than complexity.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what's the less? It's like, if I took my business, because I teach the A to Z of building these businesses, like I teach everything because I understand that the entrepreneur suffers with shiny object syndrome, and now if I go and sell them an element of it, they need the rest of it anyway. So I've just built the whole platform that I have now literally everything that's needed in there, apart from the financial department stuff and like the legal department stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The business I have covered in my training. But now I can actually go and take that out and just teach sales, or just teach marketing, or teach, you know, like running teams. I can actually start taking segments of it out. But I just still feel like they need everything.
Yeah.
You know?
But like, you wanted to have a mastermind where they come in and just teach them sales for 3 days.
Exactly, and that's part of
And
my
you're pulling
ecosystem.
from, you know, clients that you already have, and they're just coming in and getting specialized sales training for 3 days, but you're charging them.
But yeah, absolutely, you can be specific, but my problem is, you know, which can be my problem as well, is like there's too many, like what do we sell them on, but we have so much. That's why we do sales over the phone, because you find out what that single person's problem is and you just focus on that.
Yeah.
And you don't sell them anything else. The person thinks they got a sales problem, let them sit in the sales problem and help them fix their sales problem, but when they join, hey, we're going to help you with all this other stuff as well. Versus trying to sell them all this other stuff, which is like been a problem for most people.
Yeah.
How do you choose the price point for your live events?
What, to sell them or to sell off stage?
No, to sell them into it. So if you would go to a cold audience, get it warm, then selling them. So not to us, right?
Yeah, so
Or in your program.
So you know, so one's like what he did there. It's like, you know, with his T-shirt, he's giving information away. With my gold program, I'm giving tickets away for free. Now what I can also do is I can use that in my marketing to like, hey, get a free ticket to my event when you join this program, or join this program, you get a free ticket to the event. And then what we can do is we can take just the ticket out and actually start selling the ticket on Facebook. So instead of VIP, so all the customers are going to get VIP seating, but everybody else is just going to get regular seating. And then it's like kind of like, how much will it cost me to sell a ticket, and how much is a bum on seat worth? So you have to just now play the game of like, how much are you willing to spend to get a bum on a seat? Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like, those bums on seats are worth a lot of money. You know, you put them in an event for a few days, there's a lot, you know, those events are big money business.
What is your process for selling at events?
What is my process?
Mm-hmm.
Create community, create need. I mean, it's really simple, you know, it's like I have a show, like a full, like, you know, Monique sat there and watched me. I mean, from the very first word that I speak.
It was a show.
Yeah, it's a show, the very first word. I mean, I visualized being on stage months before being on stage. Apart from, I was totally shocked when I got on stage in front of you, and I knew everybody in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
That was a mindfuck to me. Because I literally, everybody was like, I'd already built relationships with, so that was kind of like weird. Where I hadn't done that before. I spoke in audiences where I didn't know most people at that
It was
point.
emotional for you too.
Yeah, it was very emotional, you know, because this year I've served differently, like served with my heart, not my head. So I was very vulnerable in front of these people, building my business. You know, as I built my brand, I was very vulnerable in front of everybody. So it was kind of like so many friends in the audience at the same time. It was just weird, you know. But the point is, it's a show, you know. It's like everything's set up to lead to the sale, and the reason is because they need what's on offer. what I realized was with these people was like, these people are going to drop off because as we put new people into the program, in this program, I'm going to be speaking about the new stuff all the time with the new people, and these people who have advanced now need to speak to me in a place where we can speak about advanced stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like the big problem I solved was helping coaches get clients with the first product, and then the second was helping coaches stay in business. So I just focused on that. That's the big problem I solved, is keeping these coaches in business. It's easy to make a couple of sales, but then not build a sustainable business. So then that's what the inner circle was about, was, you know, more advanced stuff like how to stay in business. So it's like, what do they need? And I didn't know what they needed until I'd worked with them for several months. I'm like, this is what these people need. And I focused on like trying to get that one thing. So I was saying to you earlier, instead of having all of these ideas, now I stacked the value. If you looked at my program, the offer was stacked, wasn't it? Big offer stack. But I based it around one thing. What do they need? And I worked with them for like 3, 4, 5 months until I really knew what they needed.
So what was that?
To stay in business.
Okay.
Like they needed more advanced stuff, do you know what I'm saying? It's like I'd done the basics with them, I'd helped them like pick their niche, understand who their target market is, understand the demographic, understand like creating marketing, what marketing actually truly really is, right? Going through features and benefits, going through power content, creating the funnel, and now like running advertising, actually now getting on the phone, closing some deals, servicing clients. Now how do we actually, now we've done that, now how do we now keep that alive? How do we keep that going?
How many products do you sell?
I used to launch a new product every 2 weeks. I was prolific, like one of the most prolific in the internet marketing space. I give up doing that because I didn't need to focus on joint venture partners or affiliates, what that call was about earlier. I was just focused on paid advertising. So I just need one piece of power content I drive all my traffic to that can convert them into prospects and then sell them. But then, like I just mentioned earlier, if I can remove advertising spend, there's $1 million right there. So if I can self-liquidate my ad, and that was just like on the small scale, my buddy downstairs spent $6 million this year. I can't spend $6 million because we weren't able to spend $6 million just the way the business was set up. So I was like, I'm not only $1 million down at this point, which is fine because we've already made 7 figures as well, but I'm already $1 million down. Imagine we removed that cost. I'm $1 million up by removing it, putting a self-liquidating offer in place, and we could spend $6 million instead of 1.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
So it was just a process we put in place. So we now have front-end offer, $497. Then that leads into a $15,000 offer, but we can sell it at 9. If if we believe there's a good fit, we can help them. We'll sell it at 9, and then from there, then we have an upsell, which is like 10. And then I have like other stuff where people pay like, it's like 15,000, it starts at another 15,000.
Okay.
But they have to have bought those two, and then that starts at 15,000. Now we packaged something up earlier today because I got a Mansion Mastermind, and the guy just paid 25,000 today, and he's going to get the inner circle, some personal time, and also the mastermind as well. So we can package things up for them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to not offer as little as possible.
Offer as little as possible to start with, but you have to appreciate now I'm already almost a year in, so I'm building an ecosystem. So like I was already visioning like to the girl I interviewed there before even like she was in this office when I was like stressing to launch that program because I was going all in on one program, and I was going, everything was going into it. And I built that program. From the February to the July or the June. The February to the June was one program. I built it, went all in with it, and sold 7 figures of sales, and then from then built the upsell to that. And I've been building that upsell from July till now, which is almost complete. That call earlier was a part of that. So now all I got to do is show up to 2 live classes. So I've got 2 programs. So when people go through this, they join this. And then when they go through this, they can either rejoin into this, or I can sell them other, like you said, like masterminds and stuff here. I can sell like a Facebook mastermind or a sales mastermind, or we're doing a retreat in the mansion. It's $5,000 to come to that. But they're all back end stuff. and that's just increasing your lifetime customer value. But you don't want to do it all at once. And now what we've done is we've now put a front end in place, which is the feeder. So we drive all of our traffic to this front end that will feed that ecosystem. And then once you've got that front end going in, and we've got like 10 customers a day coming into that, there's $300, $500 customers a month. So 3,600 customers a year. I mean, you know, only great things can happen based on that. Putting them into these programs over the phone or in seminar rooms. But then what we can do is we can put a front end on the front of that as well. So we can have a self-liquidating offer on the front for like $10, and then upsell them the $500. So you're already making profit on the $500. That's no longer a self-liquidating offer. So we get 100 customers a day instead of 10 customers a day. Then can we convert 10 of those a day from there? Well, that's now $5,000 a day extra free money just sitting there. It's $100,000 a month right there, just extra free money, just by putting a front end in front of that. One day at a time now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, just start with like one offer, you know what I'm saying? One main offer. Don't stack it with too much stuff, don't go crazy. What's the pain that this person's in? And then I would look at that market, you've got 100 people, I wouldn't look at the success stories, I'd look at the big problem, why people aren't succeeding in that. That's the thing I'd focus on. Like my success doesn't come from the great feedback people give me, it comes from the negative feedback people give me. The frustration, that's what I'm listening for.
Yeah, I do, so I have, I'll show you real quick, I have surveys that I give to my students that I ask them like what's the, I'll show you the answers. But one of the things that I found that everybody is concerned with that I didn't think of was everybody in the survey, they said they're afraid to build their personal brand because they're afraid to be humiliated.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
So fear. So basically, look at this then, right? Fear of success or fear of failure, everybody has. Like there's not one person I've ever spoke with that doesn't have fear, right? Unless they're a bit delusional, but like normally when it comes time to put yourself out there, the fear of ridicule, the fear of what my friends are going to say, the fear of imposter syndrome, the fear of who I'm going to become, that I may lose my family, the fear of identity loss, this identity crisis, the fear of letting people down. There's so many fears. There's just the fear goes on and on and on. But we can boil it down to fear of failure or fear of success. So then from that point is you have like the fear factor class or something, where you eliminate the fears that the people have, and that's how they're having such quick success, because the story is success is on the other side of the fear. Each of us have this fear, and that's why people in this program are not getting it because they're on their own. The information's great, but if you actually want to have the results, but you're scared of going out there, you've got to go through this process here. We'll do it with you personally to make sure that the fear, like you don't have whatever it is they're scared of. We're going to remove that before you even move forward. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's like, and however I position that, but that would be the focus point I'd be focused on, and however I position that, I don't know yet. But like, because what they want is, it's like saying this, it's like, I want the six-pack without doing the sit-ups. Do you know what I mean? So I want the six-pack without going to the gym. It's like 6-second abs, think about it. Like it's huge, right?
Like that belt that you just put around.
Put on, yeah, you get a six-pack.
That was an amazing product because it's a done-for-you offer for fitness. Like there's never been anything like that.
Absolutely. Or if you gamify, you gamify the, there's all these games now. You can gamify it. Go on these boards like with you can go on these boards.
Oh.
Yeah, like a balance board, and then like you put your iPhone in it, and you can actually like drive these spaceships and stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? It's pretty cool idea. But the point is that if you can actually say to them in some way that you would get them the result without having to go through that thing they're scared of, they're going to be interested in speaking with you.
Right.
It's not hey, we're going to face fear together. We're going to eliminate it, but I wouldn't call it the fear. Come on.
So I ask them what's your number one roadblock. So first I ask them like what's their goal, or what have they started doing, what's been their experience, what's their goal,
Yeah.
and then what's the roadblock when trying to achieve this goal.
Do you have these people's names as well?
So these are all the people in my beta.
Yeah, but do you have their names with this? Do you have their name and phone number for each person
No.
attached?
Well,
No.
not attached to their answer.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Do you have anything that links them back to the person?
Yeah, because that's so cool. Like the cool thing there is you could just phone these people up if you had it in a CRM and had that. It's like I've seen a guy there. It's like, you know, I want to be an expert, but like I my self belief.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could sell him $5,000 on that.
Right.
Like that there. I don't need like this funnel or this. No, that's how I would sell him.
Right.
So why do you want to be an expert? I'm going to find out all of the reasons why. Why don't you believe in yourself? And now, so what? You're never going to be this. So there's a big gap, and you're the void to that. You know, like you can fill that gap. And it's only going to cost him $5,000 to get all this stuff, but otherwise he's stuck without it, without you.
Right.
I wouldn't use anything else. Like there's no tactics, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I never use scripts. I used to use scripts, but like, I just don't use scripts. I don't care about all the features. A guy paid me 25 grand the other week, right? I was sitting in there. A guy paid me 25 grand. Didn't even know I had a members area, coaching classes. He just didn't know. He almost knew nothing. He almost knew nothing. And he gave me 25 grand over the phone. I just focused on his problem. Didn't tell him like, okay, let me just tell you now, because like there's a saying, you could spend 5 minutes to make a sale and 55 minutes losing the sale.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to you earlier, you don't need to tell them all of the stuff. Now I know if they got a sales problem, I don't need to tell them all this other stuff, because I could be creating more problems for them.
Right.
You don't want to create problems in the sales process.
Objections, mental objections.
You don't want to create that in the sales
And
process.
if they
You can
really
sell
want
that
to know,
afterwards,
they'll
huh?
ask. If they really want to know, they're going to ask you.
Yeah.
And like you said, you don't want to tell them about your program. You
Because
want
now
them
you're
to ask.
creating problems. So like for these people here, it's like, this is a great group of people to sell now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would make it like, there's a ton of money in that beta group to join the 5-ticket group, the 5K group. Are they all coming to a workshop with you?
Yeah, we do a weekly call.
No, but are they all coming to an in-person workshop?
Oh no.
So that would be a cool thing as well, like to get them
Some
in a
of them
workshop.
are to my LA mastermind.
Okay. Yeah, I would just try like, basically I have all these customers. I want as many of these customers in a room with me, because I promise you get in a room with me and you're giving me money.
Mm-hmm.
Like people throw their credit cards at me on stage. That's cool. You see that? That was cool as fuck.
I did.
They don't throw their knickers or bras at me, but I don't mind. Credit cards I'll do, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but that just goes down to like human needs. It's not like these cool, it's just like, this is their problems. And I'm really focused on letting people feel understood. This is, how many times have you seen people cry in my coaching classes? How many times have you cried on my coaching classes?
Oh,
Enough, right?
barely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you just take it to that human nature, it's like what's really going on for them? Because everybody's surface, and I'm gonna have to bounce now, but everybody's surface. So everybody, like, you go around the street now and say to somebody, how are you doing? They're gonna say, I'm fine, good, okay, everything's well. Lie. They don't trust you. It's a lie, right? Everybody's got a problem. So if we just look at it like that, then they're just gonna feed you a load of crap, because they feel like that's what they need to do in this world. It's not as bad as keeping up with the Joneses, but it's just self-preservation. It's like, you know, self-respect. You know, it's like dignity. But if you realize that it's full of shit, and now you go in knowing that they're lying without even know, they may not even know they're lying. So like whatever all this other stuff is in here, you can look at it and be like, well, like, okay, I could actually create some program based on this. But how am I going to sell them is on like their fears.
Right. So this is twofold. So I use this for the program to build it out, but also for the marketing of the program.
Absolutely. So like, it's gold. Like, you know, as soon as I see you got 70, I was like, oh, perfect. Because like most people, like, so Rich Efron said to me when I launched back in 2008, what should I do? So the very first thing, survey everybody straight away on entry. So as soon as everybody, why did you buy? What's the number one thing you want from the program? What are you scared of? Da, 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 da. I had this. I just surveyed everybody before they bought my program.
I think I'm going to add that as the first lesson, like do this survey first.
Yeah. And I did it in a big batch of people, so it wasn't like drip fed in. Like I sold a load of people in one batch.
Have you read Ask by Ryan Levesque?
I haven't, but
it's
I know
basically
I know
about this stuff.
Okay.
But another thing I started doing was like a So I used to only do a did not buy survey. So like if you got on a webinar and didn't buy, I'll send you a survey
Okay.
and a decent amount of responses.
Yeah.
But then I started doing a why did you buy
Yeah.
survey as well. And that's been like really, really good information.
Totally.
Because I'm all about and I teach it to the beta students too, is like constantly refining like your messaging, your offer, your product, your modules and stuff like that based on the feedback that you get versus most people just like, I just did a beta call and this is like most people only focus on the marketing of the product, but it's like 90% of your focus is on the marketing of the product and then like 10 if that is on the actual product itself, and that's why so many people have products that suck, or just you push 10,000 people through and there's like 5 that get results, and then you just play off those 5 results, which is like what most people do. So I think that's going to be huge next year, especially is using stuff like this to make quality products and constantly refining those products as well. So.
It's good you got those 70 responses because like that's money right there. And if you had the names and phone numbers attached to it, like you'd be making money today. I pick up the phone right now myself and close somebody without even knowing what you're selling. For real, just with the responses. Like I know what they want. You look like Anthony Joshua. I gotta go.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
stuff. Yeah. I have to bounce.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Yes.
So good to see you.
Yes, you too, my lovely.